My next presenter, I was amazed at how he was grabbed by this topic. And that's kind of the most you can ask for with 8th grade projects. You hope that your students will choose something that will create almost bordering on an obsession. This went way past obsession. Their rough drafts, and even their final papers, I asked them to make 7 to 10 pages, 1,500 words. Something that's doable, but still a tall order. And before his rough draft was due, my next presenter said, Mr. Sutton, I'm on page 23, and I'm about halfway done. Something like that. It was yes, 39 pages and 7,000 words. That is commitment for you. And so, without further ado, I would like to present The Obsession of Andrew Rhodes.
Good evening. I am Andrew Rose, and I decided to do my 8th grade project on the attack on Pearl Harbor. I am the son of a retired commander in the U.S. Navy and a grandson of a lieutenant junior grade. I first became interested in this when I was about 10 years old. When I was 12, I had the opportunity to visit Pearl Harbor and see the USS Arizona Memorial firsthand. I was so stunned at what I saw, I wanted to learn more about what had happened. How many of you have ever been to this memorial? Okay, then some of you may know what I'm talking about. The day is Sunday, December 7th, 1941. Approximately 6:05 a.m. at the U.S. Navy Pacific Fleet main base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Families prepared for church, and some Navy sailors had just woken up from an evening of dancing with their wives and girlfriends. Some were eating their breakfast, and some were still asleep. But little did they know that over 180 Japanese bombers were heading their way. On this day, their lives would be changed forever, and today would be forever remembered as a date which will live in infamy.
Can you walk the microphone over and I'll start playing? What do you have to say about this? There goes 2 points.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
As you can see, total chaos and destruction occurred in less than 2 hours. From the mid-1930s to 1941, Japan began a quest for dominant power in Asia by starting with the invasion of China. To prevent the Japanese from further occupying other Asian countries, in 1941, the United States, Great Britain, and the Dutch East Indies decided to cut off all oil supply to Japan. These were the three main suppliers of oil to them. Japan was very poor in their supply of oil, thus making them very dependent on other countries for this resource. With this embargo in place, the Japanese were unable to achieve their objectives of expansion, and their position of power was weakened. This angered the Japanese. They only had enough oil to last through the end of 1941. While leading the United States in peace talks, Japan was secretly developing their plan to attack Pearl Harbor. The attack was intended to halt the United States from interfering with Japan's quest to conquer Asia. Then, on November 26, 1941, the Japanese strike force of 6 aircraft carriers, carrying more than 300 bombers, 2 battleships, 3 cruisers, 9 destroyers, and 3 fleet submarines left the shores of Japan and began the course of Pearl Harbor. There were many mistakes on America's part leading up to this attack, making such a surprise attack possible. I've decided to share 3 of them with you. Mistake number 1. At 6:30 a.m., the destroyer USS Ward fired upon and sunk an enemy submarine attempting to enter Pearl Harbor. When this was reported to officials, no action was taken because they had received several similar stories about submarines attempting to enter the harbor. All were proven false. They believed this one was the same. Mistake number 2. At a radar station, 2 privates saw an enormous blip of planes on the radar and reported this to the officials. They were told, "Don't worry about it. It's just the B-17s doing from California." They were wrong. It was really the first wave of the Japanese attack planes. Mistake number 3. Naval officials believed the harbor was way too shallow for an aerial torpedo attack. The Japanese had solved this problem by modifying the torpedoes with a rudder extension and wood fins to help them float. At this point, our fate was sealed. This is my model of the USS Arizona that I built and painted. The Arizona was a battleship that dated back to World War I. After 8 a.m. on December 7th, she was attacked by 10 B-5N Cape high-level bombers. They carried modified armor-piercing bombs. After 4 hits and 3 near misses, the last bomb hit at 8:06 a.m. The final blow landed in her forward ammunition magazines. When the bomb exploded, the Arizona was thrust upward nearly out of the water. 7 seconds later, nearly 2 million pounds of explosives ignited, and a massive fireball explosion erupted out of the ship, tearing her in two. This caused the forward turrets to collapse downward some 25 feet, along with the forward mast. The blast also put out fires on the nearby repair ship vessel, just as arms, legs, and heads of men fell onto the decks. As it sunk to its present-day resting place, 1,177 men lay entombed in the wreckage, and 72 years later, oil still leaks from her hull to this day. Any questions or comments? First, I saved some pictures, and then I edited them into Windows Live Movie Maker, and then that's what all. And then I added some music, and then that was part of my hands-on project along with this model.
How hard was it to make the model?
It was hard, but it wasn't that hard. It's pretty hard on the small parts, like where there's like little tiny pieces. It's really hard and really annoying for me to paint them. It's really, really annoying.
Can someone please come up and look at it?
You can set it up in the back.
Yeah, you can set it in the back. Just don't touch it. No one touch it, please. It's gonna be my
He's been very clear about that all day.
How long did it take for you
The movie or the model? For the movie, it took me about a day at first to set it all up, but then after that I kept adding stuff in, taking stuff out, changing it up, making it better, and then yesterday I finally finished it. It took me probably a couple months, but in all it probably could have been like a day.
That's up for maybe 1 or 2 more.
It's got it.
Are you going to join the Navy?
Considering it. Ms. Brown.
Two parts. One, I noticed you're wearing something that is that from your dad, your grandfather,
No,
dog tags.
The dog tag poster.
oh, the dog tags, they actually just have a picture. This one has a picture of the USS Missouri, and then it just says US Missouri, BB-63, and then it says Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. And then this one is USS Arizona, and I bought these when I went to Hawaii.
Last one. Last one.
So, according to, you and the video, so was the Arizona the biggest?
Yeah, it was the biggest loss of lives.
And did you know, if the West Virginia was big? Because I read in a book I have that it sank, but like some of the top of it was still out of the water and burned for all the rest of the afternoon. I don't know if it sank like later that afternoon or something.
Yes, that one did sink. This one, the same thing happened, where it was completely solid. This before that, and the brick was completely caved in, and it was sticking out. And then they salvaged. It was unrepairable, so they salvaged the whole top part, put them in the ground, and then they put a memorial across it.
Thank
And
you so
that's
much.
it.